Hey everybody, welcome to the evening session.
Hello.
All right, go ahead and share right now. Tag, invite everybody. Welcome to the evening session. Let's go. Come on. Hey everybody. Yeah.
So, if you were here this afternoon, you already know. You have a pen, you have a paper, your energy is up, you're ready. Woo!
It's time to celebrate. Come on now. It's time to celebrate. Welcome everybody. So good to see you. Say hello. Let us know you're watching, okay?
Let us know you're watching, where you're watching in from. We want to hear you, see you.
All right. Say hello, everybody. All right. We see Michelle. We see Terrell. Who else is watching? Let us know you're watching and where you're watching from. Evening session is about to come on now, so go ahead and share this video right now and to celebrate. Hey, DMV in the house. Let us know where you're watching from. Hi, Dr. Ikaria, how are you? Elevate, elevate. It's time to celebrate. Woo. Elevate, elevate, elevate. It's time to celebrate. Elevate, elevate, elevate. It's time to celebrate. Woo. Elevate, elevate. It's time to celebrate. Go Jesus. 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 Elevate. Elevate. It's time to celebrate. They used to ignore me, but now I thank you, Jesus, that don't watch me like I'm Netflix. Can you see me now? Woo!
Take you higher. Never let the world put out the fire. I'm too hot. I'm too hot. I'm too hot.
Yeah. Elevate. Elevate. It's time to celebrate. Elevate. Elevate. It's time to celebrate. Wow, go ahead and share this video right now. We're going to be having a special guest.
Yes.
We're going to be having a special guest tonight. She's the founder and CEO of The Shade Room. If you're on Instagram, you probably have seen or heard of The Shade Room. So we are so excited she's going to be joining us tonight. And she's going to be talking about how she did it, because she's I think she's about 25 or 26 million followers right now on Instagram.
Yeah.
So that is in less than very few years,
In very few years.
So that is really.
And this was when, let me just say, this is part of her bio, but this is when in 2015, when Instagram didn't have that much backing, people weren't really into it that much. This is what she did. She grew it, and it's been growing.
Wow, that is so good. And also to check that link right there, bit.ly/Vonza Replay. All the sessions, all the recordings, right? Get exclusive access to it. So go ahead and buy it. It's only $49, but you get all of the speakers, all of the sessions, all of the replays, plus bonuses. If you notice that the session from earlier is gone because there's no replay in any of it, we're giving it to you free. We're giving all the conference to you for free. But unfortunately, we can't give you the replay as well. So if you want the replay and all the sessions, please go to the link right there, bit.ly, and put down the chat, please. Maybe make it, what do you call it now? Pin it. And go to bit.ly/Vonza Replay. All right, go to that bit.ly so that you can order it, man, because this is so good. I mean, David Chance was so powerful today. He was talking about human behavior mastery. That was
Mm-hmm.
awesome. If you missed it, I mean, you missed it. He was talking about the four human psychology type, right? The lion, right?
Mm-hmm.
The what's this? The
Flamingo.
flamingo,
Mm-hmm.
the turtle,
The turtle.
and
The
the
chameleon.
chameleon, right? You want to learn. I mean, it was like marriage therapy
Yep.
slash relationship counseling
Yep.
slash business advice
Uh-huh.
slash how to really know yourself
Yep.
slash psychological diagnosis slash everything, man. It's
Yeah, because you
worth
can
it.
apply it. Yeah, to
Yeah,
all those areas.
yeah.
So
So
good.
make sure you get it. Make sure you get it. Make sure you get it. So go to the link right there, bit.ly slash Vonza replay to
Mm-hmm.
get the whole thing because it was really, really awesome. Then we have Caroline Castillo. Caroline Castillo, she has clients that is doing about seven figures, eight figures. I mean, she taught us about digital marketing. Then we got Lenika Ska. She talked about mastering your brand. Then we had Funke, millionaire lady, teaching how to manage your life, your business, your home, your family. Wow. Get the replay, guys, at bit.ly slash Vonza replay. All right. We're going to be bringing the woman of the hour shortly
Mm-hmm.
because, she also got some other stuff going on. So we're going to bring her in 3, 2, 1. Let's go live. All right.
Hello.
Guys.
Hi guys. I am so sorry about today. Everything was crazy. But I'm glad I got to, make it. So hi guys. How are
We're
you?
so glad to have you. We know that you have your book back to back, book busy and blessed. That's what I was telling the people earlier today.
It was crazy,
So
but I'm happy to be here. Yeah, I'm glad I
Yeah.
got to make it.
Great. All right. So before we bring her on shortly, let me just share with you guys briefly. And this is a free conference brought to you guys by
Bonza.
Vonza.com. Let me take this. Give me 1 second. I think is the comment. Give me 1 second. Let me take that off. All right. So it's brought to you free from Bonza.com. And Bonza is the all in one platform to run your business. Bonza is the first and the only Black owned SaaS platform,
Yes.
right? Well, only Black owned SaaS platform that will help you to grow your business all in one place. So before Vonza, you need several tools, several this and that to run your business, right? But now with Vonza, you only need Vonza. So you want to create your online course, you have an online store, a book, a t-shirt to sell, website, scheduling, funnels, forms, SMS. Vonza replaces your favorite 12 tools in one simple and powerful platform. So if you don't have a membership with Vonza, please go ahead to Vonza.com and sign up for Vonza.com and you're going to love it. So Vonza helps you to start and grow your business in one powerful place instead of being all over the place. All right. So we're going to be bringing in the woman of the hour shortly. Let me see. Okay, let's do this one instead. All right, so let's go ahead and have Dr. Faith
Yes.
introduce
Let
her.
me give you guys a slight introduction here of Angelica. Angelica, she is the founder of the Shade Room. So if you didn't know, now you know. Put a face to the brand because she is the woman behind the magic. And right now, Shade Room has over 20 million subscribers across all of their platforms. She was dubbed the Oprah of our generation by Refinery 29. The New York Times have called the Shade Room the Instagram's TMZ. And let me just say this, because in 2016, Forbes named her 30 under its 30s list, saying that she revolutionized celebrity gossip. Guys, this does not happen because of happenstance or accident. This means that she got the juice, she got the goods, and she's going to drop some gems for us tonight. Everyone, please, without further ado, welcome Angelica.
Hey, is there a chat that I can see like if they're talking or no?
Yeah, there's a chat.
There is, it should pop up just depending on how much screen size you have. Can you
Oh,
see
okay,
it?
because I want to see. I want to see if they're okay. I see them, but I can't see myself when I see them. Okay,
Yeah,
Oh,
okay.
okay.
I see.
Don't worry, we're gonna read questions to you at
Yeah.
some point.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's go.
Yes.
I'm excited.
Yes. So here's the thing. I know everybody wants to know because if I'm not mistaken, Shade Room was founded in 2015 and
It was 2014. It was founded in March
2014.
2014. Mm-hmm.
March
So we're going on
2014.
7 years.
7 years
Mm-hmm.
old, a baby, but pulling in great numbers. And I know a lot of people feel like, oh, the Shade Room is just Shade Room on Instagram or Facebook. But actually, when you go to the website, you'll see blogs, you'll see interviews. You'll also see that Angelica is connected to great philanthropic work.
Yeah.
She loves media and doing just like we talked about earlier this afternoon, you guys, multi-dimensional person, multi-dimensional founder of a business. So Angelica, here's the question I want to ask you. How did you
Yeah.
just say, you know what, I'm going to start Shade Room and go full head on Shade Room instead of doing all these other things that you did have the option of doing?
You know what? The shade room was an accident, and I say that, you know, it was an accident. I'm being real with you. I had tried other businesses, so
Hmm.
let me just start from the beginning. So my dream has always been to be a screenwriter. That was my dream. Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, my dream had always been to be a screenwriter, and so when I went to college, I went to Loyola Marymount University, and my whole family, like I have a family of accountants. Like my sister's was an accountant, cousin, everybody was an accountant because it just seemed like the easy route to go to make money and just be stable. My cousins wanted me to go, because I grew up in foster care. My sister, I have a younger sister, and she doesn't have any parents, obviously, and so their main concern was just go get money, go get a stable career, right? And so I remember my freshman year, I went to my freshman year, was in accounting, and by the way, I hated accounting. It wasn't for me, right? It just I because I just hated it, and so there was this student that was in my class. He wrote a script for some studio, and he dropped out. And I remember I was like, what? That it opened my eyes. I was like, why am I even in college right now? If I can write a script and drop out, like that's what I'm gonna do. So I remember I told my best friend at the time, who's still my best friend to this day, but I told her, I said, I'm about to write a script and drop out of school. And I remember she laughed at me. She was like, girl, you need to just go to class, you know what I mean, and finish out your college career. And so that dream died that day, right?
Mm.
Because I was like, okay, maybe I'm doing too much. Okay, let me go back into accounting, right? And so for the next 4 years, I couldn't even finish my accounting degree because it was so hard for me. So I switched to human resources, which I felt was a degree I could finish. I finished that degree and I graduated college, and then I went into accounting. And I was so depressed at my work because I hated what I did, and it was starting to rob me of my peace, right? Now, I'm not the type of person that likes to stay in bad situations for too long. Once I start to
Mm-hmm.
see that it's a bad situation, I started planning my exit. So I was like, I don't like this, I don't want to do this. So I tried to open up a fashion boutique called Juju's Closet. My little sister's name is Judith, and so it was after her.
Yeah.
And that business failed miserably. I opened it with my cousins. Within 6 months, we were closing up shop. Okay, and I
Wow.
hadn't made a, I hadn't, yeah, I didn't make any money off that business. Now, mind you, one of the reasons why I felt like that business didn't work out was because I'm not a fashion person. My whole thing was just to make money. That's what I was thinking. How do I get out of this job? How do I start something to make money? That's really what it was. And I had no passion for fashion. So when it got hard, I was like, close up shop, done. I don't want to do this anymore. And so, after that, I decided to finally pursue my dream of writing scripts. So I told my mentor, I was like, you know what? I remember the day. I'll never forget the day. My mentor was setting up. I had decided, okay, if it's not accounting, let me try to do law, right? And
Mhm.
so my mentor set up this whole meet and greet for me. It was lawyers from USC, it was lawyers from UCLA, and it was this whole meet and greet. And then I went to that meet and greet, and every lawyer was like, don't do law. We hate it. Like, don't do it. Run the opposite direction, right? And so I was like, okay. So it was after that meeting that I said, I want to, I told my mentor, I said, I'm sorry that you set up this whole meeting, but I'm not going to be a lawyer and I'm not going to be an accountant. I want to be a writer. That's what I know I can do, right? And he said, finally, we've been waiting for you to realize that you're a writer. Like, we all see this in you,
Wow.
right? A week later, that same mentor, a week later, linked me up with a screenwriter who was an actress. Her name is Jordana Spiro. She was on like My Boys and like she was on Dexter and a couple of other shows. She happened to be writing a script about a girl whose father killed her mother, and the character's name was Angel. That's my story. And my name is Angelica.
Mhm.
And I said,
Yeah.
oh my God, if this isn't the synergy, this is definitely my script. So I auditioned for her. I wrote a script. I wrote a scene for her, and once she read that scene, she said, "Let's work together." So so this is while I'm still at my accounting job, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
I never worked. I never worked at that job. I'm gonna be real. I never worked at that job. I was always trying to figure out what else I was supposed to be doing. So, I started working on the script with her. We ended up submitting it to Sundance, and it made it in. And just to give you an idea of how hard it is to get into Sundance, getting into Sundance is harder than getting into Harvard. It's extremely hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And so, once it did that, I knew that God was a part of it. I knew God was
Mhm.
showing me that I was supposed to be somewhere else, right? So, I went to Sundance while I was still working in my accounting job, and it was during tax season. Right, it was during tax season, so it was the worst time to leave. But I was going to the boot camp, right? And so it was big directors there: Quentin Tarantino, Michael Goldenberg, Casey Lemons. These were my personal mentors for my script. And I remember there were 3 days left in the program, and my boss called me on, the third, like, there's 3 days left, the first day of the three. He called me and he said, if you don't come back on the flight today, right? He's like, you're fired. He's like, because I can't do this. Like, there's no way you can be leaving in the middle of tax season and have my books all crazy, right?
Yeah, and
And
yeah,
it was that moment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So it was that moment where, yeah, I was like, it was that moment where uh, I didn't have any money in the bank because my boss would pay me late. He would pay me late. So at this point, I was already like in the red in my account. But I had a choice. Was I going to follow my dream, which was my dream, or was I going to this job that I hated anyway? And so I quit on the spot. I said, well, then I quit. Um, and I was supposed to perform my poem because everybody was showing their movies, because most of the people that were in the program had movies. I was the only one who didn't have a movie because it was my first time. So I told them, well, I don't have a movie, but I have poetry to show you how I write. And I went on stage, and I remember I was performing this poem called Behind Bulletproof Glass. It's about my father, and it's a very sad poem, but I started crying because I started to realize that, Angelica, you're in trouble. You don't have any money in the bank, and after this, you don't have a job. You know what I mean? So I started bawling, and they thought I was bawling because of my poem, but it was so much more. And I got a standing ovation. I
Wow.
got a standing ovation, right? And right after I walked off stage, the director of the program, Michelle Satter, said, I'm going to give you a $5,000 grant, right? So I'm like, wait, okay, so I quit. First of all, I got into this program, then I quit, and immediately, 5 minutes later, I get a $5,000 grant. It's God, right? So that helped me. That grant helped me to be able to sustain myself with no job for a couple of
Mhm.
months. And I thought it was going to last me 6 months. It lasted me 3 months, right? Because, emergencies would happen, car will break down, whatever. So that money went away really fast, right? And while the money was draining, I remember all of my friends were in grad school, law school, because I have really smart friends, and we all went to really good school. So they're like pursuing their careers, flourishing. And here I am at home, unemployed. Yes, I have a script at Sundance, but that takes 4 years or five. Scripts take years to make, right? So and there was
Right.
no money. It was an indie film, so it wasn't like it was a lot of money there. And so
Mhm.
uh, during that period of time, I would just be wasting time. I would be on the media. I would be looking at celebrity news, and I would be calling my friends like, "Hey, girl, calling them and telling them about the news. And finally, my best friend, the same one who told me to not do the screenwriting and just to focus on school, that same one said, well, why don't you just open up a media company or something? She's like, because she was like, if you're gonna
Mm.
just be like, they loved the way I told the story. So they were like, just open up a business. That's what she said, open up a business. And so I was like, you're right. That's what I'm gonna do. You know what I mean? So it was like an idea. It was supposed to be. I'm gonna tell you what I thought the shade. I'm gonna tell you what I thought the shade room was gonna be. And I don't even remember coming up with the name. It just popped up in my head that day. But I thought the shade room was gonna be a side hustle. Max. I even said it out of my mouth. Oh yeah, I feel like I'm gonna have 100,000 followers by the end of the year, and that's it. It was supposed to be a side thing, right? But what happened was that day I started looking up how to start a blog. And at the time in 2014, blogs were like dying because people
Mm-hmm.
because since social media had come, people weren't going to www dot anymore. Like they
Yeah.
would just get their news from seeing it on their friend's page. Their friend would share an article on Facebook or something like that. So
Mm-hmm.
so every article I read at the time was saying every article I read. I'm sorry, it's hot in this car. I'm gonna see if I can turn on the AC, but you let me know if it's too loud.
Okay.
But every article I read was saying, don't do it. This industry is failing. Like, just do something else, right?
Mm.
It was all talking about the problems of blogging. But I didn't listen because something in my heart said, I know I always believed in myself that I could do something, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I opened
Believe.
up an Instagram page. I didn't know how to make a website, but I was watching some motivational video that was like, you better start now. Whatever your dream is, start now. Don't wait. Don't sit on it. Start now. Do one thing to start your business. And I took that advice seriously. So I opened up the Instagram page because I didn't know how to do a website and I didn't have the money to do a website. So I was like, well, I'm gonna
Ah.
start blogging here just so that I can build up a community so that when I do launch my site, I could just link them to the site.
Mm-hmm.
Little did I know, little little did I know that me starting on Instagram was gonna be the biggest thing that I had ever done for my brand, for that it was gonna go like this. I did not know, but me starting on Instagram was actually destined. It was actually that's where I was supposed to go, right? Because what
Wow.
happened was I started blogging on Instagram directly, and it was something that had never been done. Nobody saw any value in doing that because everybody used to tell me, why you don't own this platform, why would you start a business on Instagram? Like, it just was not, it was unheard of at that time. And but it was genius because people were getting their news while they were checking on their friends. Or you know what I mean? Like, it was just like they'll be looking at their
Yes.
feed and then boom, news will pop up, right? It
Yeah.
became so the first day I got 300 followers. I spent all day. I will never forget. I spent 24 hours the first day but you know why it was so easy to do that? Because I loved doing it. It was something that I was doing for free for my friends,
Mm-hmm.
and I was really good at it. So when I started doing it on Instagram, I could do it all day. I was just sitting there, having fun. I'd be like, okay, today the Real Housewives, I would just say my opinion on what was going on. And the first day I got 300 followers. After a week and a half, I had 10,000 followers, right? Because people
Wow.
were just sharing it like crazy. Like, have you heard of this new site called The Shade Room? And then in 2 weeks, I had 35,000 followers because Tammy Roman just stumbled upon the page and she posted it in her, like, y'all better follow this page. It's hot. You know what I mean? And then people just, and from there, it was over. It was over. It was like, I knew in 2 weeks that I had something bigger because my goal of 100,000 was already being, I was already close in two
Yes.
weeks. So
Wow.
I knew that this was gonna. From that point, I was like, this is gonna be huge. Yeah. So that's how it happened.
That's so crazy because what you're saying literally is like what my husband says this all the time. Do whatever it is that you would do for free and figure out a way to monetize it. And that's literally what you did. Like, that is how you would talk to your friends, telling them all the business, and then you were able to monetize it and monetize it in a big way. So when did you feel like you were going to just give it your all and then
Yes.
start building something around it? Because you're not the one that's sitting there posting all this stuff anymore, are you? Or is it still you that's coming up
No.
with
So
everything?
I was. No, 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 no. I have a team now. So for me, I was 23 when I started this business, right? I was
You were
not ready
how
to
old?
be a boss. Yeah, I was 23.
23.
That's
I was
amazing because
23. Yeah,
sometimes
because I'm
Wow.
that's
30 now.
amazing. Yeah. Because sometimes people in their 20s, they'll be like, oh, I'm too young to start a business. I need to wait. They're just playing around, just doing different things. But at 23, you already knew that,
No.
you were on the right path, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I was 23, but also I wasn't ready to be a boss. I didn't
Okay.
really get a chance to think about it. It just happened. Like it
Yeah.
started blowing up on me too soon. So I knew, like I said, within 2 weeks, I knew that I had something crazy because of the people would tell me. Like they would be like, "This is the best site ever. This is gonna be crazy." Like if the followers would tell me, you know what I mean? They would be like, "This is gonna be big. Are you ready for this?" Like they would pump me up every day because they loved it. They were so they couldn't stop reading the page or whatever, you know. So I knew then, but it took me a long time because, for instance, it took me 8 months of doing it. I was building up this site for 8 months before I even made my first dollar. You get what I'm
Wow.
saying?
Oh.
So I remember the way that I was able to monetize the page. Yeah, the way that I was able to monetize was it was turning. I will never forget. It was 8 months in. I Up until that point, I was just having fun. Like I said, I would do it for free. So I didn't care. I was like, yeah. And then obviously I was seeing 100,000 followers, 200,000, 300,000. So I was like, whatever. Like this is fun. I love doing it. I spent 20. I barely slept during that period of time. Right. I would pull over on the side of the freeway. You know what I mean? And post. Like that's how excited I was about what I was doing because I did it anyway. You know, I did it in my skin. So but then it got to a point where my rent was due and I was gonna get evicted for sure. Like if
Mm.
I didn't figure out how to make some money, I was gonna get evicted. It was at that point. And I remember I wrote a check to my landlord, to the not the landlord, but the manager of the apartment building. I wrote a check to her and I didn't have the money in my account. But I had, you know, you have that grace period to pay your rent.
Hmm.
I had 3 days to make sure that by the time they cashed that check, because I told her, I said, "Can you wait till the full grace period to cash this check?" And I had to wait 3 days. I knew that I had 3 days to make this money, right? So I started looking on Instagram and I saw that other people, like influencers, would post ads for people. And I was like, okay, well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of like an influencer. I may not be a face, but I have followers. So I put on the thing, I put on the page, and I remember this. Hold on, I have to talk about this conversation I had. I called my cousin, and I was complaining to him. I'm like, I'm building this business, but I don't know how to make any money from it. And my cousin was like, oh, he was like, go be a waitress. That's what he told me. He said,
What?
just go be a waitress at like one of these places, or he was like, because yeah, that was his advice to me. He told me to go be a waitress so I can make money quick. You know what I mean? To kind of sustain myself. Um, and I hung up the phone on him, and I was like, I'm about to figure out how to make money off this page, right? So I put a post on the page, and I said, if anybody wants to advertise, I'm gonna tell you why this is very important, because I put a post on the page and I said, if anybody wants to advertise with me, I'm charging $75 because I didn't know what to charge at that time. I was like, I'm charging $75 per ad. That day I had 10 to 15 companies say, we've been dying to advertise on the Shade Room. We've been wondering how we can advertise. Boom, that day I made my rent. They all paid me via
Wow.
PayPal. I made my rent. I used my sister's PayPal, but I used my sister's PayPal and she just paid me the money for my rent. By the time the lady cashed the check on day 3, I had the
It
money in
was
my account.
good.
And after that, that was the last time. And this is unheard of. This is unheard of. It was the last time I ever had to post or ask for people to do an ad. After that, everybody just came to me. Everything kept going
Wow.
to
That's
me, right? And
good.
I haven't seen a company being able to do that. Everybody always has. I've never had to ask again, and it went off from there. So that's how I was able to monetize, and from there I just started to build a business. One thing about me was I am a person who loves to take people out to lunch. I want to sit with everybody that does what I do. I sat with the
Mhm.
CEO of Refinery. Obviously, later once I started getting more followers, I sat with the CEO of Refinery 29. I sat
Mm-hmm.
with one of the top people at BuzzFeed. I sat with everybody. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I had to have a wealth of knowledge. For me, the school that did, I went to college, but the school that gave me all the knowledge was lunches with people who did what I did or were at where I
Boom.
wanted to go, right? And they would
Mm-hmm.
all give me game. This person would say this person would say do this. This person would say do this. This person would say do this, and I would hear everything that everybody said and just choose what I felt was, what I wanted to do. And so that's how
Mm-mm.
I literally studied
Wait,
and learned
Angelica.
to be able to build a business. You know what I'm saying?
Hold on. You jumped way too fast. You say you went to lunch. This person would say this. This person would say that. Can you get more specific and tell us what the
Good.
person
Wow,
said?
you're on
Can you
fire
give Can
today.
you give us that? Just one little lunch nugget.
Well, yeah. Well, well, let me give you. So I sat with BuzzFeed later on in my career when I was like starting to get TV offers and stuff like that, right? And there
Okay.
was this particular offer from this network, WeTV, that they wanted to do. They wanted to do the Shade Room show, right? And so, me personally, I was like, yeah, let's do it. Let's do the Shade Room show. Let's do the deal. Let's go. And but they were offering me nothing, peanuts, right?
Mm.
And also I didn't feel like that was the right network for me. But I have a show with them now, though. That's crazy. I have a show with them now, so no diss to WeTV. But at the time, I didn't know how to weigh that decision. So I
Yeah.
had a lunch with Summer from BuzzFeed. I don't know if she still works there, but she was a high exec at BuzzFeed, and she was like, "Girl, don't take that deal." She was like, the advice she gave me was, because I was afraid that if I didn't take the deal, I would lose all opportunities for TV. I felt like it was my
Okay.
only opportunity. And she said, as long as you build your brand and as long as you focus on your brand being hot, she said you'll always be offered a TV deal. But the difference is later is going to be more money, right? She said that
Mm-hmm.
BuzzFeed turned down their first deal. Now later on NBC paid them 200 million for a whole, just to develop shows. You know what I'm saying? So she was telling me, don't think small, think big. Don't go
Yeah.
for this one little TV deal and have them own your name, own your show, own your merch, own everything. She said keep building your business. People are going to always offer you a deal. And what happened, they did, right?
Wow.
They still offering me TV deals. Now they offering me big. Now I have a movie deal with Universal. You know what I mean? Now Paramount
Wow.
is knocking down my door. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, it was little things like that. I would hear it. Yeah, so it's little stuff like that that people would just drop seeds into me, and I'm like, you're right. So, don't take too much investment money. So a lot of companies, I sat down with Amy and Jeff with Refinery 29. I think they sold Refinery 29. I'm not sure if it's still a company. Hello, um, I'm not sure if it's still a company, but I sat down with her and she told me, we took all this investment money. Don't do it. She's like, don't do what we did. Don't need to take investment money. Don't do it. She was like, because what they're gonna do is they're gonna, try to control your audience, because one thing about investors is they don't care about you per se. They have
Right.
20 businesses in their portfolio.
Yeah.
So
Right.
their mind is, I'm gonna work all y'all to the hardest so that at least one of you guys can pay me back my money. They expect one company to pay them back all the money for 20 companies. You know what I mean? Because
Wow.
that's just how it is. When you're investing in
Yeah.
companies, most of them won't make it. It'll be that one
Mhm.
company that'll make it and go. And so she was telling me that if you take investment from the wrong people, or if you take too much money, that they're gonna hammer you to give them their money back. They're gonna push your
Mhm.
business in ways that they're gonna make you do things. You know what I mean? So she was just like, be mindful of taking investment money. And so from there, I was like, you're right. If I don't need it, I'm not gonna take it. And so I did take investment money early on, a small amount, for
Mhm.
7% of the Shade Room, and then that was the last investor that I let come through the door, right? And then I worked to make sure that I reinvested in the company. I think the thing that you got to focus on is profit. You have to focus on, how do you build a healthy company? Well, a healthy company
Mhm.
makes profit. right? And so that's what I was focusing on. How do we build a healthy company that can pay for itself? You know what I mean? That I could, the money, the cash flow I could use to reinvest in the company and continue to reinvest. And that's what I did. And I was able to pay back my investor and buy my equity back. You get what I'm saying? Because I was like,
Wow.
I
Oh,
want
You are
ownership.
cold
I
blooded
want
now.
to be able to
wow.
build my own company. Now, you know what I'm saying? We've never had a red quarter since I started making money. No red quarter, right? So I feel like for me, it was just sitting down with people. I sat down. Who else did I sit down with? I sat down with another company head, and they were like, just focus on your audience. Just focus on giving them what they want
What they
consistently.
want.
Oh, it was the owner of Indeed, right? So there was like a
Oh,
panel,
indeed.
and I
Okay.
and I got to talk to him in a one-on-one, and he told me, he said, just focus, because some, when you look at like a Craigslist, when you look at Indeed.com, Craigslist has not changed its formula for years. It's the
Correct.
same.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to always wonder, why doesn't Craigslist make it more pretty, or why doesn't it, do this or do that? They're not focused on that. They focus on continuing to provide a platform to give their audience exactly what they ask for. And when you
Mm-hmm.
focus and you do that, you become ingrained into their daily habits, because they continue to be able to use, you're of use to them in the way that they need you to be. You don't need to have bells and whistles or 10 different verticals. Focus is the biggest part of business. How do you focus on your audience? Focus on giving them what they want consistently. If we shut down for one day, people would lose their mind, because they never knew us to shut down. They know every morning at 4 a.m., the shade room, 4 a.m. Pacific, the shade room is going to be posting. Even on Christmas, even on New Year's, there's no day off. You know what I mean? And so it's just, how consistent are you, and how focused are you on giving your audience what they need? And you have to listen to your audience. You asked me, why am I on the page? My audience told me to get off the page. They told me to get off. They didn't like my opinions anymore after a while. They were like, they what they valued was the comments. So they were like, we want to know the roommates' opinions. We don't really want your opinion added. You know what I mean? And I listened to that, and I said, okay. So now we only have journalists who are like moderators. We just
Yeah.
moderate. We don't put our opinion. We don't say, oh, there's no opinion there. We leave it to the roommates. And that helped us to grow more. So listening to your audience, I remember Airbnb said that in the beginning, the creators of Airbnb would go to their clients, that were on the
Mm-hmm.
website. They would go to their houses. They would knock on the door and be like, what can we do to serve you? You have to listen to your audience, and that's going to aid in your growth as a business for sure. So that I listened, and I got off the page.
Wow.
So
Okay.
good. So good.
That was so
Time.
powerful, though. That was so powerful. But now let me just say something you
Wait, I
just
can't hear
did
you
now.
guys. The sound went
Can you
out.
hear us? Hello? Can you hear?
I can't hear you anymore.
Okay, we can hear you
Yeah,
though.
we can hear you.
We hear you.
What happened?
All right. Can you hear us? Okay, maybe you can
Should I
jump
should I
out.
leave and come back in? Because I can't hear
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, leave and come back in. All right, she's gonna be coming back. Wow, that was so powerful. So much nuggets,
So many
right?
nuggets, guys.
So many nuggets. Do launches, find mentors, find people you can learn from. Always one or two or three steps ahead of you. Do lunch with them, call them up, beg them up, get that golden nugget from them. And
Mm-hmm.
then whatever they tell you, make sure that you do it. Okay, she's back now. All right, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can
Oh,
hear you.
there it goes.
Okay, good. All right, so
Okay.
Angelica, you just did something that the president and the economic advisors have not been able to do. You just single-handedly revitalized the whole restaurant industry in America, because now everybody's going to be taking somebody to lunch now. So thank you for thank you for bringing the restaurants back now. So
That's good.
everybody want to take somebody to lunch now to get that
Yeah.
learn that golden nugget.
Right.
Okay, we also know how much more time you got with us, because we know you have some other things.
I got time. I got time. I
Okay,
pushed
all
it back.
right. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. All right, good. All right. So, okay, now, so we want to get more. Okay. So now Shade Room is a multi-million dollar business. It's doing so
Mhm.
well. It's grown beyond your wildest dreams. And God's hand has just been on your life.
So
That
true.
favor has been on your life. And
Yes.
it's just been incredible. The blessings of God on you, and also to, the problem you're solving through the Shade Room, right? So if somebody was to say, Angelica, I'm putting you on the spot right now. What's your five biggest business secret sauce that you can be like, anybody, if you do this one, two, three, four, five things, it could be three, it could be four, it could be five, it could be more. And it's okay. If you do this, I'm telling you with certainty that you are going to do well. So what's your five, 3 to 5 life biggest business secret sauce?
The first one is to get your idea out. That's how I first started. Is
Wow.
my mentor used to tell me ideas stuck in your head are ideas better off dead. So many people have ideas stuck in their head that they refuse to move on. And I think my story is a prime example of how when you move on an idea, you don't know because if I said, let me wait till my website, let me wait until I can start a website, or let me wait until
Mhm.
I can afford a website, I would have missed my whole purpose. I would have been trying to do what the old way was, and I would not have been successful. You get what I'm saying? It was a large part of my success was that I started no matter what. I started with whatever I had, and what I had ended up going crazy. You get what I'm saying? My site would not be what it is if I started on the website. But that's what caution would have made me do. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
I say that when you have an idea, don't worry about your resources. You need to start with the first thing, and you need to keep going until that idea you can see it to fruition. Because whatever you start might be the thing that might be exactly what builds your makes your business go crazy. A lot of people don't start. I have people in my family who want to do businesses, and they be like, well, how, I mean, they just find any reason. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't have this, I don't have that. This person wants to do a podcast. Oh, I don't have the podcast equipment, but you have a phone and you have Instagram. Go do the podcast. Who said you need equipment to do a podcast? All you need to do is reach the people. I know I got somebody who wants to be an actress in my family, but oh, I don't know. Go do auditions. What are you saying? God is not about to come. God, let me tell you what God is not gonna do. If you don't work, ain't nothing coming to you. I'm
Come
sorry.
on
You
now.
know
Oh.
you know the parable of the talents. There was one guy who God gave all these talents to people. One person doubled and tripled the talent. The other person, you know what I mean, did this. But then one person buried their talent. That's what you're
Mhm.
doing when you don't go and pursue your ideas. You're burying your talent, and guess what? God don't like that. It doesn't please Him, because He didn't bless you with a talent for you to just sit on it. You know what I
Come
mean?
on and
You got
preach
to
it.
you gonna have to answer to that, because He may want you to be successful in this field so that you can. There's people relying on your talent. There's people relying on your inspiration that you're gonna give them, because you became successful in whatever God had you. So for you to sit there and sit on your talent is actually a sin. You talk about
Woo!
sin?
That's
That's a
it.
sin. It's a
You
sin.
getting
You
into
gonna
it
have to answer to
now.
God
Wow,
for
you're
that.
preaching now. You're preaching now.
It's true. I'm
We
telling you,
gotta
it's true.
pass the offering bucket
Come
shortly, because
on.
you're taking us to church right now. Wow.
It's true.
Go
It's
ahead.
true. The second thing is to connect with what you were born to do. Now, I
Mm.
never saw myself in media. I'm gonna be real with you. I never saw myself doing this at all. Like, if you told me 10 years ago that this would be my life, I would tell you, please be quiet. This is nothing of what I want to do. I would be like, I would be so mad and irritated, right? But I think that when I look back on my life, and I look, and now in hindsight is 2020, I've always been good at this. My family
Mm.
was like, of course you would be that. You need to go talk to your family and friends and ask them what they see you doing. Because a lot of times outside people can outside people can see your talent better than you can. Everybody in my life was
Mhm.
like, you're a writer, and whatever, and you're gonna be successful in writing. Whatever you do is connected to writing, right? I thought it
Yeah.
was screenwriting, and it is screenwriting, because I have a movie now. That movie from Sundance is on Netflix now. It's called Night Comes On, if you guys want to watch it. And then I have
It's
a
It's
called
called
new
what?
what? It's oh.
oh, it's called Night Comes On. So
Night
Night
comes
Comes
on.
On, and it's on Netflix now. Um, I told you I have a Universal deal for a new movie with Issa Rae as the producer, right? So I still was supposed to be a screenwriter, but my writing could make room for me in many different areas. I could be an author,
Mm,
I could be a screenwriter, I could be the shade room, right? And so that's what we're talking about when you say double, triple your talents. If you're a good writer, how much can you write? You know what I mean? If you love fashion, well, how much can you do in fashion? Can you have your own brand? Can you be a stylist? Whatever it is, like try to expand your talents. What else can your talents do for you? So I would say the second thing is to connect with what you do best, because when you go into something that you enjoy and you would do for free, and it's just innate to you and you just are talented, nobody can look. Nobody can. Come on now, the Shade Room got 21 million followers. What other business do you know is doing that, right?
Come
It's
on.
when you are operating in your lane, nobody can. It's no competition. You are favored and anointed to do that.
Come
So I feel
on.
like
Toot that horn. You better say it.
yeah, ask your fans and family. Actually, call your best friend, call your husband, call your boyfriend, call your sisters, your brothers, your mother, whatever, and say, what do you see me doing? You may be
Wow.
surprised that they already know what your purpose is or what they felt your purpose could be, right?
Wow.
So I say that to say, get into your purpose, but don't there. And the third thing, there are some people who are handicapped by this idea that they have to find their purpose. So while I say get into your purpose, don't make it so spiritual. Don't make it too much to where you don't move at all. Because
mm,
the way that I got into my purpose was on accident. I actually didn't know that that was my purpose until I tried it, and then it went really well. So try
Mm-hmm.
things. Sometimes you don't know what your purpose is. Try things, try things, try things. Just try different things that you like to do. And then you may stumble on your purpose, right? The third thing is education. Um, my form of education was, like I said, meeting with people. Find out, meet with people. You know what I mean? Talk to people. Really, really be educated about the field that you're going in. Another advice I would say is, a lot of times when we're starting small businesses, we want the people that we hire, we call them family. Like, oh, we're a family, we're a family. And that's one of the worst things you can do, as a small business owner, is to tell the people that you're working with from the bottom up that they're family, because they are not your family. They're your team, and there's a big difference. Team,
Mm.
your team is based on performance. So in order to stay on a team, what do you have to do? You have to perform. You guys have
That's
you have
right.
to you have to show up. You gotta work. But a family is your family unconditionally. You don't have to. No matter what happens, your family. So I learned early on that that could be detrimental to your business if everybody that you start with, you create this environment that you guys are family. Well, when you have to fire somebody, they won't take that too well, because you have made them feel like they're your family now. But if you say, hey, we're a team, then they'll understand that their performance just wasn't good for the team. So you
Mm.
have to build the right environment when you're first starting. And you don't and here's another thing, don't overpromise. Please don't
Yeah.
overpromise. Because it's easy when you first start. Like, I'll give you an example, right? When I first started the Shade Room, I overpromised. I'll be honest, I overpromised, because there will be, like, for instance, I had a lot of people reaching out to me wanting to work with me. So I had a guy reach out to me saying, oh, I want to own half of the Shade Room. Early on, I didn't know what the Shade Room would be, but early
Wow.
on, I didn't know what it would be as much. I didn't know how big it would be, right? So I was like, oh, okay, well, if you show me your work, if you work well, then yeah, you could have half of the Shade Room. But this
Wow.
person came on and was I'm gonna take the whole business down. You know what I mean? Like,
Wow.
they were gonna take this whole business down, and they were not who they said they were. So what I would say is, you may not see the full vision of it. Don't overpromise people anything, and don't just have reasonable promises, reasonable
Yeah.
expectations for the people that you bring on. Um, what else? Don't take investment money. Don't take investment money unless you have to. If you
Okay.
feel like if you don't have to, if you're in an industry where you don't have to take investment money, or for instance, if you want to be the next Uber, of course you have to take investment money, right? But if you're in
Hmm.
an industry, just to give you an example, the girl who did Spanx,
Yeah.
Spanx, she didn't take investment money. She has $1 billion company.
Yes, she does. Sarah
You know,
Blakely.
yeah. Anastasia of Beverly Hills,
Beverly Hills.
or
Uh-huh.
Anastasia, she didn't take investment money. Like, you
Wow.
know how much her company's worth. So what I'm saying is that you don't always have to take investment money, and
Exactly.
if
Yes.
you don't have to, baby, don't do it. Don't do it, because the reward, you know what I mean, is gonna be. Trust me, I know so many people who took investment money and they hate themselves. Like, your investors
Mm.
could really kill your business if you have the
Yeah.
wrong investors. You know what I mean? They could kill your business and they could kill your spirit. So I would say only take investment money if you can. And what else? What else? Do business the correct way. You know what I'm saying? Don't take cut corners, or do business the correct way. Um, Pay your taxes. You know what I'm saying, and all that. What else?
Please pay your
What else?
taxes, y'all.
Yeah, have clean books. If you can't
Hmm.
afford an accountant, well, I ain't gonna lie, my books were terrible the first year because I didn't even know any. But
Yeah.
I had an accounting background, so it wasn't so bad. But it's like, you know, just make sure that you're doing good business. What else? What else? What else? Watch who you share your plans with, because
Mm.
I love my best friend, and she is the reason. She is. If it wasn't for her suggestion, I wouldn't even be doing what I'm doing. But she did kill my first dream. You get what I'm
Wow.
saying? And if I didn't pick it back up, then I wouldn't be here. So I feel like you have to be mindful of who you share your dreams with, because
Yeah.
some people can actually kill it. Just from saying, "Oh, that won't work," or whatever. So be very mindful of who you speak. Share your dreams with. Um, and then the last
Wow.
thing, I don't know what number am I on?
Number 8 or 9.
The last thing I'll say is, um, there's this story in the Bible, and I want to get on that, because it's funny that you guys are talking about God and I do the shade room. That's not really, a lot of people don't associate God with the shade room, a lot of people would say, there's no way God had anything to do with the shade room, and I'm gonna get to that part. I wanted to have a conversation about that, but um, there's a story in the Bible about Gideon.
Mm.
The Bible is really good for teaching you how to hire, teaching you how to be, you know what I mean? Like, there's examples of that. And I remember one day telling God, like, how do I hire? Like, how do I hire? And I remember I was led to the story of Gideon, right? So in Gideon, he had this huge army, right? And God kept cutting the army. He kept cutting it to make it smaller, because we know God likes to get the glory, right? So anything that God is a part of is going to look like, how did they do that with that small team? How did they do that with that, right? But the way God was cutting off people was, he said, see how they drink water. Some people,
Hmm.
if they drink water, if they lap like a dog, those are the ones that that I'm gonna keep on. And the other ones, if they scoop it with their hand, well, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was different ways that they were drinking. The people who drank more desperately were the ones that they put on the team. So that's literally how I hire. The people who work for me are the people who kept being persistent. I want to work for the shade room, sending emails over and over and over and over again. Like, I never let anybody, it was never an easy process. Like, you had to really show me that you were persistent and wanted to work for the shade room. So I would say, um, hire those people that are persistent, who align with your vision. Because as a CEO of any business, you have to have a vision. You have to
Yes.
be a visionary. You have to be a visionary. There's no way you can lead a company if you don't have a vision. And you have to get people to sign on to your vision. You have to. And if you are not the type of person to motivate and influence people to sign on, or go on with your vision, then you need to get somebody, a partner that has that ability. Because
Hmm.
everybody in the company has to feel the vision, know the vision, and my team at the shade room feels like they're changing the world, and they are. But they feel like they're like, we're changing the world here. Like, we are doing this, we're doing that. Like, we have endowments at two schools, you know what I mean, and forever, even past when the shade room is no longer. African American students at these schools will be able to get money. You know what I mean? And so we've connected the philanthropy and the purpose of everything that we're doing, in such a way that my team is like, I can't be anywhere else. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
this is the company I want to work for. So I feel like you have to be a very good motivator, a visionary, and you have to get the people that work for you on that journey with you.
Absolutely. And I think I was maybe this is the route that you were going with it. I know that some people will look at Shade Room and be like, Shade Room. Some people will probably look at us and say, well, why would they have the founder
Why
of
would they have
Shade
to say
Room? Because our background is ministry. So people would say, well, why this, why that? But here's one thing that I know about God. God does not need you to come from this squeaky clean, picture perfect, silver platter background. He
yeah?
will use you in whatever capacity that you lend yourself to him. So if you start off with the gossip mill, you start off on the stripper pole, you start off in the mud and the gutter, if you start off in the penthouse, wherever you are, and you say yes, or you're tapping into him, you're leaning into him, he will use you and that thing to get the glory. Literally, Shade Room is changing lives because of what Shade Room is able to do. Yes, was it yesterday or the day before yesterday? Because you guys are good for this too. Some of my morning inspiration, let me confess it, honey. Look at me however you want to. Some of my morning inspiration comes from the Shade Room, because Shade Room is faithful, honey, to talk about, if you know God, open your eyes this morning, drop a prayer hands, drop an emoji, drop a fire. Come on, give God the every single day. Gratitude, reminding us of the faithfulness of God,
And on
reminding us.
Sundays
And
too.
Sunday, that
And,
y'all
and we
been
and we
coming
and we
through with
not
the word.
Yeah, we have a we have TSR Bible study on Sundays now, which is really, it really opened my eyes, because I'm like, wow, like we're learning some things I didn't even learn in the church. There's some things there's some preconceived notions we have of the Bible. Like, for instance, if I tell you all sins are equal, you would think that that's true, right? And that it's in the
Mm-hmm.
Bible somewhere. That's not in the Bible, but
It's not.
you know what I mean? Like, but we were able
Yeah.
to find that out during the Bible study. But also, what I want to say about that is, you have to think about it. God needs people in every area, right? So
Correct.
in this celebrity news industry, who did he have? You know what I'm saying? He has to have somebody there too. He needs somebody in acting. He needs somebody in sports. You know what I mean? Like, you see Yvonne Orji, she is a Jesus. She is sold out for
Yes,
Jesus.
she is.
But
Mm-hmm.
there's people who will say, oh, but she's doing naked scenes. Okay, but once you finish watching Molly on Insecure, you're gonna want to know more about Yvonne. And when you hear from Yvonne, she's gonna tell you about Jesus. You get what I'm saying? And so
Correct.
I feel like sometimes we don't, like, there's a story in the Bible where God has this man marry a prostitute, right? And
Correct. Hosea.
yeah, everybody was like, what? That can't think about what the church would say. You know what I'm saying? If that was a story that happened now, everybody would tell him that that is not of God. God would never tell you to marry a prostitute. But God had told him to marry a prostitute because he had a purpose. He wanted to show the relationship between God and Israel in the church, right? So it's
Mm-hmm.
like, for me, I feel like sometimes God may be doing something and you don't know, but I know for a fact God is in the Shade Room. The most commented post on the Shade Room is a post about Jesus. I remember it was on Easter, and I said, if you still believe in Jesus, raise your hand in the comments. And we had 175,000 people come out and say, I believe in Jesus.
Wow.
I ride for Jesus. What other platform, church platform or wherever, can you get that type of engagement from 175,000 comments about Jesus? You get what I'm saying? Like, our morning inspirations will get 50,000, sometimes 37,000 comments. You'll see celebrities coming in there praising Jesus. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And so for me, sometimes you got to think about my audience. A lot of them probably don't go to church. A lot of them
Mm-hmm.
probably are just in this space. And so the Shade Room is an influencer in a way. We influence the culture. And so if we're saying Jesus, Jesus every morning, there are many people who are being influenced by that. There are many people who are like,
Absolutely.
let me hear about Jesus then. Well, let me try Jesus. Well, let me
That's
think about
sowing
Jesus.
seeds. That
You
is
know what I'm
seed
saying?
sowing.
It
And then
is.
you guys have a completely different page. I forgot what it's called, but I was
It's
like,
called the Same Room.
The
The
saved
same room.
room.
Yeah, it's called the same room,
The same
and
room. Okay.
yeah, and then we're trying to do it. We yeah, it's called the same room, and basically that's just a whole Jesus page, right? And
Correct.
so we have season 2 coming out. We had Megan Good on this on season 2. We had Erica Campbell. We got some really good conversations. Last season we had Kurt Franklin, Charlemagne, Matthew Stevenson, Amber Riley. Everybody was on there.
See?
Adrian Bailon, and we had some really powerful conversations. And here's another thing. When I first started the Shade Room, I wasn't saved. I'm gonna be honest with you. I wasn't saved. I used to be an atheist. I used to be a diehard atheist. Like, it's so interesting that God even loved me. You know what I mean? After this, you know what I'm saying? But I was an atheist who would try to get, because I used to study chematology, that Egyptian, the
Yes.
hoteps. You know what the
I
hoteps,
know it.
y'all. I
Mm-hmm.
used to be I used to be a hotep, and I was a severe hotep to the point where, like, I didn't want anybody around me believing in Jesus, right? It wasn't until I took therapy with a woman who believed in Jesus, and she started, and she told me, she said, uh I was like, this better not be no Christian counseling, right? Because I was so over Christianity. And she said, oh, she was like, well, it's not Christian counseling, but I believe in Jesus, and it's all over me, so it's gonna get on you if you do therapy with me. And she prayed for me, because after a while I saw her spirit. One thing about it is, when you doing that chematology and all that, and you studying all this stuff, and people tell you the Bible's not real or whatever, who wrote it, or what they say,
Yeah.
King James wrote it, how can you trust a white king or whatever, they say all these type of things, right? And I went down that rabbit hole. I did. But I pay attention to how you feel. I was never at peace. It's this saying that says, if you always woke, you never sleep. That's true. I felt like I was so woke, trying to be so woke, and I just started
Mm.
turning the circles and circles and circles, right? My body, my spirit, my mind, my everything transformed once I went to Jesus. My life transformed. The way that I saw myself transformed. You get what I'm saying? My spirit,
Yes.
everything was uplifted. That dark place, being a hotep, being angry and all that type of stuff, was not of God. And it wasn't fulfilling to my spirit. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so so I remember so after I started feeling her energy, I'm like, oh, I feel so good when I come to see my therapist. She just has this bright energy. So I want to know who Jesus was. So I told her, I said, can you pray for me that that I could know Jesus as surely as you do?
Mm.
And she prayed for me. And the prayer she said was, I pray that you know Jesus, that Jesus shows himself to you in a way that nothing could ever get you off. It took 3 months, right, of me continuing. I went home and I prayed that prayer to myself, because for 3 months I didn't see nothing happening. But in the third month, I got a vision from Jesus, from God,
Wow.
about something that was gonna happen later. And so I had never experienced that vision, or being able to see a vision from God, right? But he showed me who I was gonna be in the future. That I would have new robes. That he would use me, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
the way, I don't even want to cry.
Don't.
Don't worry.
Come on.
Be yourself.
Woo.
I'm sorry. I don't want to cry. But the way that he showed me, when he showed me myself, I had never seen myself that way. I had never seen myself that way, ever. And I was like, God, this can't be real. And when he showed it to me, the things started to happen. And he was telling me, I'm going to use you. You know what I'm saying? In a very mighty way. And for me, I guess I'm crying because I used to feel so much shame after I became saved, because I had people emailing me, you're the devil, or, there's no way God could be,
Wow.
involved with you, or, you shouldn't even speak God's name. You know what I'm saying? And I felt so much shame just even talking about God on the page or anywhere, because
Shut you down.
nobody thought God had anything to do with me. But I had to hold on to that vision because God told me, even till this day, I'm holding on to that vision because He told me I would be something bigger, that the shade room would be better. It would be used for something that He would be proud of later. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm still, even to this day, holding on to that vision. Like, God, when are you going, I want to see the full thing, right?
Mhm.
But he keeps revealing it slowly. But so far, I mean, we've been able to do so much philanthropy, so much work. He's blessed me so much. I'm a person who came from foster care, who lost both of her parents, who has dealt with so much pain of sexual abuse, emotional abuse, physical abuse in my life, poverty. You know what I'm saying? To be
Mhm.
able to be transformed into a person who can then have scholarships and pay for foster youth to have transitional housing, or bail mothers out of jail, all the things we've just donated to help, for efforts to help stop human trafficking, all these things, right, that God is allowing me to do, because the shade room, 10% of our revenue 10% of our profits goes back to the community. That's how I pay tithes. Now, I know you're supposed to pay tithes to the church, but right now I feel good paying tithes to the community. I'm gonna talk to God about. I prayed to God about that. I said, God, if you really want me to put my money in church, I'm gonna do that. But I like giving it to the people. You know what I mean? I like to see their lives change directly, and I feel like But that's how I tithe, and so He just keeps blessing me every year. We make more money every year. We grow bigger every year. We have more opportunities, and I'm sorry. I know I look crazy. Let me see. Oh my God, I look a mess. I'm sorry.
It's good. Everybody's like, testify, testify in the chat
Ooh, I'm
and
sorry.
put in.
I felt God, because I'm so grateful for how Jesus showed up in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm grateful because He changed my life. So
I'm going to say this because literally right before this, you were about to go into an event. So I don't want to hold you from the event, but this part
Yeah.
right here had to happen. You
Yeah.
had to testify. You had to share your story. And because you cracked open the Bible, I'm going to keep rolling with it. And if we remember very, very clearly that in the Bible, the New Testament specifically, there was a man named Saul. He had an encounter with Jesus. Before
mm,
he had that
yes,
encounter, he was the number one, basically, prosecutor of Christians of that time. And yet, Jesus still saw it fit to give him vision, to turn
mm,
his life around and make his life huge testimony for the
yes,
sake and the name of Jesus. I don't
yes.
know who's watching this. I don't know how you got here, but I'm glad you're here. And I'm glad you're able to hear Angelica's story. And because her story is proof, is a testament to the goodness and the faithfulness of God, that He can
Mm,
literally use an idea, a business, a connection, a relationship, a friend to turn your life right into where God has been waiting for you to be. So, whatever the idea is, work that idea. Use the gems, the nuggets that Angelica
yeah.
slapped us on the head with, okay? Like just all over the place. I'm ready to go. I'm about to order the kids some pizza because I don't need to be disturbed. I'm about to do some business tonight, okay?
No,
I am
and
charged
just,
up.
just know that the first half of your life does not have to look like the second half. It don't
Come
have to.
on.
It don't have to. You know.
You are so right. Angelica, thank you
Wow.
so much for
Thank
your
y'all for
time.
having
Thank you so much for sharing with us. You gave us your heart tonight. I felt
Yeah.
it. You gave us your heart, not just
me.
nuggets. You gave us your heart, and we will
Yeah.
forever be grateful for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was so powerful. And I think something else too that God did with you tonight also is to make
Hmm.
it comfortable. God used it to break so many shackles of people's faith, their fear and all this other stuff holding them back, but also too that is okay to be successful in the secular world and still talk about Jesus. That and
He
not and,
needs you. He
yeah.
needs you to.
Yes.
Jesus was never in the church. The only time, one of the only few times he was in the church, he was tearing it up. He was out in the world. He was out in the world changing lives. You understand? Like he needs people in the world doing his work. So Yeah.
Absolutely. Wow.
Wow, this is so great. Of course, anybody want
Woo!
to know how to find her, the Shade Room? So
Yeah.
if you don't follow the Shade Room on Instagram, please go to at the Shade Room. In fact,
And the same room. So you can
In the
get like
same room.
the same room as well. Yes.
Yes.
On
wow,
Instagram.
good. Okay, so can you give us a parting word? I know you poured so much more, but just a parting word, because one of the reasons why we call this the Just Launch It Challenge, is that for some people they holding back their blessings because they're waiting for this or that or the order, and we
Sure.
feel like, okay, let's put this together to tell people just launch it. Don't wait. Like your story, you didn't wait for the website. If you are waiting for the website, probably the shade room will be way different from what it is today. You probably would have gone the
Right.
blogging route or whatever,
Right.
It,
but you
it
just
wouldn't be it wouldn't be what it is. It wouldn't be what it is for sure.
exactly, but
Wow.
you just
Yeah.
launched it. You just launched it. So can you speak to somebody right there that is sitting on the fence, especially about launching their online business, whatever that is, maybe for like 2 minutes, just speak to somebody right now on the importance, the need for them to just step out of on faith and launch that business.
The thing that I feel like helps me the most is thinking about the people that are relying on you, right? So all of the people that are think about my whole staff that now are working, right? Being able to feed their families, being able to live like that. Then think about the people on here. Anybody on here who says they're inspired, right? Well, if you're inspired, if I had never done this, you wouldn't have had that, right?
That's
Think
it.
about the people that you can give back to with your money that God gives you. There are, like, literally, it's actually very important that you get your idea out, because God has you. He wants you to inspire people. He needs to use you. He needs you to not only inspire people but help people. He's going to bless you financially so you can bless other people. There are people who are waiting on you to fulfill your blessing. And when you think of it like that, all the people that are attached to you doing what you have to do, because sometimes when we think about ourselves, we're like, whatever, who cares? I'm nothing. I will never be anything, whatever. But when you start thinking
Mm.
about the fact that you have a responsibility to people to get your idea out and to be successful, then the stakes become higher. You know what I mean? It becomes higher. You what I would say is, whatever idea you have, strip it down to the bare bones. I remember one of my friends said, "What do you need to do the shade room?" I said, "All I need is a laptop, a phone, and internet. That's all I needed to do the shade room.
Yeah.
Strip your idea. What do you need to do a podcast? Well, all I need is a phone and internet and social media. Okay, because you could do a video. Oh, anybody that wants to do a podcast, there's this app called Anchor, right? Have you heard of it? It's an app
Yes.
called Anchor. It'll make it so you could do the podcast from your phone, and it'll sound very professional, and you can it'll
Mm-hmm.
distribute it for you to Spotify, to all these platforms, right? So if all you need is a phone and internet to do a podcast, do not overcomplicate it. What else? I don't know, but I'm just saying, like, what else do people say? If you want to write a book, all you need is Scrivener. Scrivener is a software or whatever called Scrivener, Scrivener. It may cost you like $100 some. Oh, she said, "What best advice do you have for beginners to overcome fear to start sharing their social media content?"
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about that. Tina. I just saw your question, Tina. I'm gonna tell you like this. I had to go through embarrassment, and I'm gonna tell you why the embarrassment in the beginning when I was sharing my business was so bad. I didn't know that Instagram sends out a notification to all your friends when you started, like, if you to tell you that you got on Instagram. So all of my friends, when the shade room first started at zero, all of my college friends who are in grad school, law school, just, I mean, everybody's booming. They saw that I had started this page that they considered a fake page, and here I am blogging on this page. I'm gonna tell you, I had so much embarrassment in the beginning. Everybody laughed at me. Oh my God. Everybody was like, do y'all see Angelica? She has this little pay. She doesn't have any time. That's what everybody kept saying. What is she doing with her life? We graduated from Loyola Marymount. What is she doing with her life? Let me tell you something. You better get over that embarrassment, because I'm gonna tell you, all those people that were talking about me, all those people that were asking, telling me what am I doing with my life, throwing up the little subliminals, the people who I was embarrassed by are now asking me, how do I start a business like you? How do I call it the wheel of fortune. I call it the wheel of fortune, right? Because that wheel does turn. Okay, so the people who are gonna criticize you, or that you're too embarrassed to share your idea in its infant stages with, the fear of failing, all those people are going to be knocking on your door, begging you to tell them what your secret is later, begging to see how they could do it like you. You get what I'm saying? So I would say, get over
Mm-hmm.
just think of that wheel of fortune. Say, okay, this is what I'm going through right now, but I know that if I continue on, that the people who are bashing me, laughing at me, are going to be asking me how I did what I did. And so get over that fear. I mean, I had to get over the fear. I had to get over the embarrassment of my first business, not only launching it, but it failing. Because everybody was like, you know what I
Exactly.
mean? Well, they're not saying that now. They definitely not saying that now. Now they like, oh my God. You know what I'm saying? So think about the future. Believe in yourself.
Yeah.
Even if the first idea doesn't work, so started the second idea. Just know you're
Mm-hmm.
gonna win. Just know that you're going to win. And when you do win, baby, the story. What are we talking about? Once you win, what we talking about here? What we talking about? It's the wheel of fortune. You know what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
So get over the fear and just do it. Just do it. Yeah. I
Absolutely.
would say anybody who wants to start a business today. If you want to start a business, start today. If you haven't started your first thing, start today. Start today.
We agree. That's literally why we did this challenge. We did these
Yeah.
3 days so that people can literally launch their business. Just start. Y'all just start.
You
And
may start
Vonda
with your
makes it.
social media. You may start by buying the name on GoDaddy
Mm-hmm.
.com. You may start by opening up all your social medias and starting to post. You may
Come
start
on.
whatever it is. Just start. Don't hold
Just
yourself back.
start. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. And see, the thing about it is, Angelica, we didn't have Vonza back in 2014, but it's 2020. So you got Vonza. If you need a website, start your website on Vonza. If you need to host your courses somewhere, your ebook, your t-shirts, do it
Yeah.
on Vonza because everything is right there. But what
Right.
we are saying, guys, through this challenge for the next 3 days, we're going to push it. I'm talking about y'all. I'm real laid back and chill. My personality is real calm, but I'm going to get real aggressive with you. Get that business started. I'm
Get it
not
started,
kidding.
y'all.
Start it.
Get it, get it started.
Start it. Come on. Just, yes, Nike said it best. Just do it. Angelica, I know you have to go. We thank you so much. Oh, it disconnected or something.
I'm sorry. Can you
But
hear me?
oh, there you are. Okay. We thank you so much for your time, for your expertise, for your years of being fearless and just making it happen. Thank you so much for sharing with us. We appreciate you and I'll be reaching out to you soon.
I can't hear you anymore. The call came in, but thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate being here, and I can't wait to see some of your businesses come to fruition. I know God got y'all. Listen to her launch it, and thank you so much for having me and listening to me, guys. Bye.
Woo! Y'all, Angelica was on fire. I don't know if y'all know. I listen. Tara said this was amazing. I'm telling you, Tina, you got it. Just start. Terrence, just start. Troy, just start. Listen, she was on fire. You understand it? Wow. And Paul, you are right in the vein. You are right in the vein. Don't just start, grow, scale your business with Vonza. She didn't have the opportunity to have that website at that time. But now you don't have any excuse, y'all. You literally don't have any excuse whatsoever, because you have everything literally at your fingertips and for a great price as well. Part of the whole purpose of this Just Launch It challenge is to get you inspired, get you motivated, let you see people that are just like you, but they made it, they've scaled it, they've grown it, they've taken it to leaps and bounds. And we said, we're going to take away every single excuse. You hear me? We taking away every single excuse so that you can literally change your life. Like 2020 has changed so many people's lives just vicariously through the pandemic, but we're not just going to let life happen to us. No, 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 no. We're going to happen to life. Okay. And we're literally saying be intentional. Use the discount code SUPERSTAR and get 50% off your first 3 months on Vonza. Why? Because we want to cut out the excuses. We want to cut out the barriers. We want to cut out anything that would hinder you. At this point, it's just you. I don't want to preach. I'm not going to preach, but I'm just going to tell you, it's just you at this point. If you don't start, if you don't launch that thing, if you don't get started on Vonza, it's just you. There's no external thing. It's you. Thank you. We're taking away every single excuse. Use the coupon code Get Started. Okay. Use the coupon code Get Started and start changing your life. Well, what if I get on Vonza and the first business I do, it fails? Cool. Let it fail. So do the next one. Well, what if the next one fails? Cool. Do the next one. What if that one doesn't work out, or I don't get that much money and people laugh at me and people call me out my name and I'm the laughing stock in my city? Great. Let them laugh at you. There's not one single person that has ever changed their life or the life of others that has not been laughed at. Listen, I'm willing to get laughed at. Okay. I don't mind people laughing at me if it means my life gets to change. I'm just going to fall back on that right there. I don't care who laughs at me. I don't care how many times I fail, because eventually my failure is going to lead to my promotion. And if that failure is going to get me to the place that I know that God Almighty has declared, has written my name, has stamped the stamp, like that's her life, if that's what it takes, then I'm willing to do that to get to where I'm supposed to be. Right? Hold fast to that vision. Work that idea. Do what you got to do. If it takes people laughing at you, go ahead. Let them laugh to change your life and change other people's life. That Wheel of Fortune will come back and they'll be like, oh, how did you do that? Do you happen to have any openings at your company? Can I pick your brain? Can I take you to lunch and you kind of just show me how you did that? Right? Come on. Come on. It's worth it. The life you're meant to live is worth it. So that's why we put this together. That's why we have you here. That's why we want you to go ahead and just launch it. All right. Listen, this is day one. Okay. Tomorrow we're coming back again. We're starting at 12 p.m. My mind is like, ah! We're starting at 12 p.m. We're going to have more phenomenal speakers. I just hope you're ready, because we're about to bring it. Like, we're about to bring it. I feel like the Hulk. Okay. It's going to be amazingly awesome. But even more than that, you starting your business today on Vonza is even the more awesome. So even as you're listening to the inspiration, the motivation, the stories, the tips, the tricks, the techniques, you're writing notes. You're doing your business at the same time. You're writing notes and you're uploading your stuff. You're writing notes. You're like, yes, like, oh, that's a good tip. Let me write that down. Tap, 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 tap. And and it's just going and you're flowing and you're going. Let me tell you something. Money likes quick action. Take action. Take action. Stop playing with your dream life. Stop playing with your destiny. Stop playing with your purpose. Stop playing with other people's purpose because they're connected to you, waiting on you to get yourself together and get in your purpose so that they can get into theirs. Stop playing. Get connected. Do the thing. And let's get this train moving. You hear me? Woo. We're just getting started. Tomorrow we'll be back 12 p.m. We're going to be right here on the Vonza platform. We've shared this out to so many places. So I know that some of you guys are going to come back. People are going to try and catch the replay, but let them know there is no replay. Sorry, there is no replay unless you purchase the replay. That's what's going down at the bottom at the ticker, okay? All the sessions, all the recordings broken up by speaker is going to be right there at that link, bit.ly/Vonza replay. It's very cost effective. Get the replay, okay? Because we're not leaving this up. This thing was too rich. That's like leaving caviar and filet mignon and Bel Air and all that good fancy schmancy stuff out for the children to play with. There is no replay. You got to catch it live or buy the replay. So get the sessions. So that means what you got to do, go ahead and move your schedule around, move it around so you can catch the fire live. You can catch the inspiration live. Listen, we love you. We're out. Go get you something to eat, get some work done, stay up till midnight or whatever. You put in your time at the job. Now it's time to put in the time on your dreams, on your destiny, on your purpose, on your vision. Make it happen. We believe in you. We're excited for you. And we definitely look forward to all the wonderful testimonies that are to come. We look forward to seeing you tomorrow. You have a great night. Go Vonza!
Go Joshua!